53 years. 53 years of heartbreak. 53 years of maybe next year. 53 years of watching other cities celebrate while New York waited. Patrick Ewing couldn't get it done. Sprewell and Houston came close. The Melo era faded. The tank years, the rebuilds, the disappointments. But on June 13, 2026, in San Antonio, Texas, of all places, the New York Knicks did something nobody born after 1973 had ever seen. They won it all. This is the story of how they did it. Coming off that gut-punch loss to the Indiana Pacers in the 2025 Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks front office made a decision that shocked a lot of people. They fired Tom Thibodeau, the same coach who dragged this franchise back to relevance, the same coach who squeezed every ounce out of a roster that had no business making the Final Four of the Eastern Conference. Gone. And then the coaching search? It didn't exactly go smoothly. The Knicks reportedly went after Jason Kidd, Ime Udoka, Chris Finch, Quinn Snyder, Billy Donovan. One by one, they all said no or weren't available. So New York turned to Mike Brown, their sixth choice, a guy who had just been fired in Sacramento despite winning 48 games in his debut season there. A guy the league had chewed up and spit out before. Nobody was throwing a parade for that hire. But Leon Rose in the front office also made smart moves around the roster. Jordan Clarkson came in to add scoring punch off the bench. Gershon Yabusele joined to give them toughness and versatility. The core, Brunson, Towns, Bridges, Hart, and OG Anunoby, came back hungry. The mission was clear. Last year they ran out of gas. This year they were going to build a deeper tank. And early on, this team looked like they meant business. Mike Brown came in with a different philosophy than Thibodeau. Less reliance on the starting five for 40-minute stretches, deeper rotations, more trust in the bench, and it showed. The Knicks reeled off winning streaks of 7 games or more, twice. They closed the regular season winning 12 of their final 16 games. By the time the dust settled, New York was 53-28, locked in as the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brunson, still doing Jalen Brunson things, every night operating at a level that had MVP conversations swirling around him again. Running a top 5 offense with surgical precision, making plays in the 4th quarter that had Madison Square Garden losing its mind on a weekly basis. Karl Anthony Towns had officially arrived in New York. Year 2 looked like a different animal, more comfortable, more assertive, dominating the paint and stepping out to the perimeter the way only he can. And MSG, that building was loud all season long. The energy in that arena felt different. It felt like a city that believed again. But let's keep it real. This season wasn't all highlight reels and standing ovations. There were stretches where this team looked nothing like a championship contender. January was ugly, like genuinely ugly. The Knicks lost 9 of 11 games from New Year's Eve into mid-January. 9 of 11. The questions started flying. Was Mike Brown the right guy? Was the roster deep enough? Could this team actually compete when it mattered? There were 4-game losing streaks. There were nights when OG Anunoby went 1 for 9 from the floor and disappeared. There were blowout losses, including a November home loss to Orlando, where Mike Brown walked into the press conference and flat out said, and I quote, "They kicked our ass. It's as simple as that." You gotta respect the honesty, but it wasn't fun to watch. And the question that followed this team all year never really went away. Can a 6'2" point guard actually be the engine of an NBA championship team? The doubters had receipts, they had arguments, they had history on their side. Until they didn't. When the playoffs started, something shifted. This wasn't the same Knicks team that ran out of steam in May. Mike Brown had managed these guys differently all year. The rotation was deeper, the legs were fresher, and the belief was real. They went through the first round, then the second round, and when they hit the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavaliers, nobody handed them anything. Down 22 points. 22 points down in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they came back and won. That moment told you everything you needed to know about who these Knicks were. By the time the postseason was over, New York went 16-3. They won 15 of their last 16 playoff games, and along the way, they won 9 consecutive road games in a league where home court is supposed to matter everything. The supporting cast showed up. Josh Hart was everywhere, every loose ball, every 50-50 rebound, every deflection. OG Anunoby was a lockdown force on the wing. Cat was a mismatch problem nobody could solve, and Jalen Brunson was becoming something else entirely. The 2026 NBA Finals, New York Knicks versus the San Antonio Spurs. A young, electric Spurs team led by a generational talent, hungry, athletic, and playing in their own crowd. This wasn't going to be easy. But the Knicks flew into San Antonio and took care of business. Game 1, New York. Game 2, New York. They were up 2-0 on the road before the series even came back to Madison Square Garden. Game 3, San Antonio fights back, reminds everybody they're not going quietly. Knicks lead 3-1. Then came Game 4. Game 4 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks fall behind by 29 points in the third quarter. 29! The Spurs crowd is electric. Social media is writing New York's obituary in real time. And then OG Anunoby, who had been a warrior all postseason, tipped in the game-winning basket. The greatest comeback in NBA Finals history, and the Knicks led the series 3-1. But it was Game 5 that belongs to history. The Knicks trailed by 10 points with just over 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Spurs wouldn't go away. The crowd was loud. The moment was massive. And Jalen Brunson looked at all of it and scored 10 straight points by himself to tie the game. 10 straight points. He eventually gave New York the lead for good, 90-88 with just over 1 minute remaining. He finished with 45 points, a Knicks Finals record, scoring 29 of his points in the second half, 15 in the fourth quarter alone when the game was on the line. Final score, 94-90. New York Knicks, 2026 NBA champions. For the first time since 1973, 53 years, New York City had a basketball champion. Let's talk about what Jalen Brunson just did. He averaged 32.6 points, 4.6 assists, and 4.2 rebounds for the entire Finals series. Every single one of the 11 media members who voted for Finals MVP gave him the Bill Russell Trophy, not one dissenting vote. His 45-point Game 5 made him only the second player in NBA history to score 45 or more points on the road in a championship-clinching game. The first, Michael Jordan, 1998, Utah. You want to put Jalen Brunson in that sentence? Because that's where he lives now. And here's the part that should make every Knicks fan love this man forever. Back in 2024, Jalen Brunson took a reported $113 million pay cut on his contract extension. Why? So the Knicks would have the financial flexibility to keep OG Anunoby, to bring in Karl Anthony Towns, to build the team that just won the championship. He bet on his teammates. He bet on New York. And New York paid him back with a parade down 7th Avenue. The debate about the greatest Knick of all time is officially open, and the answer might be standing right in front of us. I want to talk to the fans for a second. The ones who watched this team through the bad years. The ones who sat through the tank. The ones who watched lottery picks come and go. The ones who defended this team when it wasn't easy. The ones who kept the Garden loud even when there was nothing to cheer about. This one is for you. 53 years is a long time to wait, but New York never stopped believing, and neither did this team. Mike Brown, the 6th choice, just won the NBA championship. Jalen Brunson, the 33rd pick in the 2018 draft, just won Finals MVP. And the New York Knicks, the most storied basketball city in the world, are finally champions again. The wait is over. New York, we got one.